1993 is when they started monetizing us and pledging us as collateral for the debt. Now, to register, the word register means to abandon. Yeah. And when you register a car or a berth or a house, you're giving it to the government. You're giving your legal title to the government, and you only retain equitable title, which means that you have the use of that property. The government allows you to use it, thinking that you own it. Clear evidence of this is anyone who owns a house, look at their mortgage, and you're referred to as the tenant, not the owner, the tenant. So if you think you own your house, you're mistaken. Same with your car. The reason why they can impound your car is because you registered it, and under maritime admiralty salvage laws, they come along and they adopt it. In the case of the birth registry, they adopt the...
Biden worked with the coward exiled president of Afghanistan to manipulate the intelligence about the Taliban.
What the president said to then President Ghani in private is exactly what he said in public, that the issue was not whether Afghanistan had the capacity to withstand the Taliban. It's whether it had the will and the plan to do so. He urged him.
The transcript was a lie.
It's false. That plan.
It's incorrect.
He did not work to bring people together.
You're saying it's false. It's a lie. It's incorrect. He did not work to tamp down the intelligence on the Taliban.
Absolutely not.
So the transcript is incorrect. That's your testimony today.
The intelligence that we had, we've already discussed at some length about what the assessments were of the Taliban and its capacity to take over the country.
I think that everybody looking for an explanation about what happened and how everybody got it so wrong, how your administration got it so wrong, needs to look at that as the most likely explanation, asking the president to manipulate the intelligence of what was actually going on with the Taliban. And I'm going to tell you the 13 families that deserve most to really hear the honest answers on that. We deserve hearings on what's going on with that leaked transcript. We deserve to know why there are others that remain in Afghanistan. Mark Frericks, Navy veteran, disappeared in Khost Province January 30 of 2020. We deserve to know what's going on with his release. These are things that have to be answered for. I do not believe whatsoever what you're saying about the administration not working to manipulate that intelligence. To me, that is the most logical explanation of how so many in the intelligence community got this so wrong about what was going to happen in Afghanistan. Why it would seem somehow logical for President Biden to leave the, quote, most advanced military weaponry. Why some would not speak out against that if they were getting the false intelligence because it was coming from the top down to manipulate it. In my opinion, that's absolutely aid and comfort to the enemy. I absolutely wonder if you were complicit in this as well. I find it hard to believe that President Biden would do that without you being aware of this. And these are things that we deserve to know better answers, have better hearings on this. I do not believe a word that you're saying on this.
Simply put,
I do not wish to hear from you. I'm not
simply
yielding you a
put,
moment
Congressman,
of time.
what you said is dead wrong.
I don't wish to hear your line.
Question for the rappers. You done made all the songs in the world talking about twerking, killing niggas, shooting niggas, robbing niggas. You do this to a nigga, this, nigga that. You done made it all. You done said everything you can say about killing your own community. Here's what I want to know. How many racists have you killed? How many white supremacists have you robbed? How many Klan members have you ran down on? How many white women have you referred to as bitches? Equally for the female rappers, how many white men have you robbed? How many white men have you set up to be robbed or killed? How many white men have you put on child support? See, we also have a white supremacy anti-black issue in our own community.
Donald Trump is not going to be that bad. Don't run. He's going to make a Kia bring their ass over here and start building them desks and stuff in America because he's going to make America great again.
Los días tienen sentido porque contigo no faltan las risas. Por eso me enamoré.
Representative Gates and members of the House attending today, Dr. Gosar, at this field hearing, thank you for the opportunity to testify. Let me make 7 quick points. First, one of the original sins of government that has carried and caused the poor treatment of the January 6 protester defendants is the lawless formation of the House Select Committee, the January 6 Committee, leading to it acting in a one-sided and due process-free way. That committee was gerrymandered by Speaker Pelosi, operated without a ranking member or counsel to the ranking member. Liz Cheney was granted vice chair status to try to cover that up. The committee then had a series of carefully scripted by Hollywood hearings where the entire Q&A path was pre-written and meshed with cherry-picked snippets of highly edited video and audio doctored video. The committee interviewed 1,000+ witnesses, it says, but only about 200 transcripts have been released. Second, the January 6th committee worked with regime media, the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, and MSNBC, etc. In that way, the fake narrative that an insurrection had occurred on January 6th was blasted everywhere. Based on secretly recorded video, we now have on tape Nancy Pelosi's documentarian daughter and her friends admitting that no real insurrection ever occurred. The collective effect of the January 6th committee's shameful way of proceeding, plus the reinforcing media blitz, poisoned the jury pool in Washington, D.C. Trial venue transfers out of D.C. should have been permitted. Media narrative mongering, indeed, was also the pre-original sin, therefore, of this entire issue because it laid the groundwork for the January 6th Select Committee's hatchet jobs. Third, many of the defendants were swept up in a vast dragnet that I believe violated the Fourth Amendment because it was the equivalent of a general warrant that our framers sought to ban. This was done through the use of geofencing technology and cell phone data warrants sent to telecom providers. Additionally, many protesters arriving after President Trump's speech in the ellipse had finished did not see any signage that areas normally open to the public were closed that day, setting up a trespass trap for the unwary. Fourth, the Justice Department did not treat these cases with appropriate respect for the First Amendment rights of the protesters. The 2020 presidential election was incredibly contentious, and many citizens...
1994, when he did such harm to the black community, and he called them super predators, and they have never lived that down.
The answer to that is I never, ever said what he accused me of saying.
If I don't want to ask, they must be taken off the street. A cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
I've asked others, is there anybody been charged with insurrection? And the answer is actually no. No one has been charged with insurrection. In fact, if they were going to charge with someone with insurrection, it's beginning to sound more and more like those would be agents for the federal government that were there stirring things up, trying to get people to engage in violence. And as we heard this weekend, apparently a guy that was giving out what were later used are called dangerous weapons. Himself had been working for the federal government, for the FBI, as he was handing out what they now charge for deadly weapons.
He's telling me anything. No one's telling me anything. And one of the parents were saying that there's kids possibly held at the funeral home. I'm just confused and worried. I'm trying to find out where my baby's at. I'm concerned. Just confused and worried. I'm trying to find out where my baby's at.
Why is he smiling? I'm just trying to be strong for my family, for my daughter. That I know she's out there. She's hopefully she's out there and she's scared. I know she's scared. And at least
you've been looking for her today.
Something happened.
Okay, let me make sure I'm following.
What are you worried about right now?
Why would they be looking for them if they're dead?
They say that they may be at the funeral.
Have you heard anything?
So they're not.
Practice a lot, and I think we were safe because we practiced.
There you go. They're safe because they practiced.
Wow.
They were doing drills. We know the drills have ramped up since Sandy Hook. As they recount these experiences, I don't.
What I see is kids that are talking about the drills that they did.
Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best.
Let's go off the bat and quickly kill your nonsense. You came here to brag that your presidential-elect has done more for my people than mine's. That depends on what side of the fence you look at it. So let me show you what it looks like on this side of the white picket fence. Biden has been locking people of colors and minorities forever. Trump has been releasing them, cutting those balls of slavery chains that your Democratic Party put on them. Obama deported more Hispanics than anybody in history, placed us in cages. Trump came, took us out of those cages, put us in hotels, army bases, and sponsor homes. The nation was in a recess where people were literally eating shit. And let's not talk about how the minority population was dealing with it. And Trump fixed that economy for all of us to eat. You want more?
Now, this week, let us show you. Here's Colleen Huber, MD. At Colleen Huber, NMD. Dr. Fauci neglected to let the public know he was co-author of a paper that found this. The 1918-1919 pandemic deaths were mostly from bacterial pneumonia. See EndNote 17 in the paper. Why did this happen? #mask. Here is the new paper. Primary Doctor, Medical Journal, November 2020, COVID-19. University Hong Kong, and it goes through all of them, okay? And it's got Dr. Fauci in it, saying that masks grow pneumonia and cause death, especially in the winter. Now, when I come back, these are from...
When Barack became president, he tried to force Africa to accept same-sex marriages, and African government said, we don't allow that stuff here. And Barack sanctioned Africa. Well, Biden duplicated the same thing. Biden said the same thing, trying to force Africa, different countries of Africa, to accept same-sex marriages, and if those countries don't, he will sanction them, starve them. How in the world men knocking up men mean so much to America that you will use your power to starve a baby, starve a woman, because a country want to uphold God's law?
This is the clash of civilization if we can use the terms of the Samuel Huntington's concept. This is really a hardcore conflict which was provoked artificially by the Western forces and by the globalists. So all of this is the clash of civilization, and the problem is that from that side, from the side of the Ukrainians, there is their religion, they're obsessed by the aggression.
Живу в Геническе очень давно, 55 лет. Что я могу сказать? У меня брат родной в Донецке. Мне очень жаль, что 8 лет он под бомбежкой был. Никто не замечал, ни пресса, ни наша, ни украинская, никто не замечал. Россия помогала. Европа не помогала.
Russia helped, Europe did not.
Все, конец света.
American groups,
Лаборатории,
the end of the world, laboratories, devastation.
начиная. Они, куда бы ни ступила Америка, Афганистан, Югославия, Ливия, это Сирия, ну, везде своей ногой топчет, гоните до конца.
I hope you guys see this.
Сердечко, вот это корень, этот
Our country,
останется, он все равно будет разрушать,
a
будет
bunch of fucking
вырастать,
bullies,
и
evil
опять та
fucking
же
people.
самая комедия будет, понимаете?
You guys better
Их
get
надо
on board with that.
рушить отсюда
Trump's
этот-
the only
это
chance
ядро
you got
самое,
and I
ядро.
got.
Все
They're
разрушено,
sick.
все. Они уничтожали. Америке
None of this
не надо,
happened
народ
during
им надо
Trump's regime.
земля.
All this happened to Obama and now Biden.
Байдена сына здесь. Газ качать, вот, который они не завершили этот момент, начали, но не дали им. Спасибо вам большое, что вы защищаете.
Thank Russia.
How we are going to exterminate white people, because
For all these people who holler about white supremacy
and systemic racism, I want you all to shut the fuck up. Shut up. I don't want to hear your bullshit anymore. A black man can get on C-SPAN and call for the extermination of white people. That's not hate speech. That's a hate crime. That's hate speech and a hate crime. Nazi Germany, anyone? Adolf Hitler, anyone? The Aryan Nation, anyone? And for the ones who keep bringing up the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, anyone? Does that sound not familiar, anyone? Hello, McFly. Hello. So motherfuckers are supposed to get me to believe that in a systemically racist society with all this rampant white supremacy, a black man is free to get up on national TV, and this is C-SPAN, national TV, and call for the extermination of the very white people who are so-called running the systemically racist society, the very white people who have all this white privilege, but they're going to allow him to sit up there and say that. And so explain to me how that shit is logical. Explain to me how that shit makes sense. I'll fucking wait right here. TikTok, 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 TikTok. And we already know if a white dude has said that, if an Asian person said that, any non-black or person of color had said that, or non-melanated person had said that same shit, it would be a fucking uproar. People would be marching in the streets and tearing up businesses and shit and burning down cities and all kinds of shit. But it's okay. Let the black privilege speak for itself. That's black privilege.
How we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't...
Wait, so this was on C-SPAN? On national television? And they didn't cut this man off and say you're engaging in hate speech? They just let him continue and the people clapping in the audience? This is like some straight up heading into the, 1940s German regime that was exterminating Jews kind of rhetoric that is happening right now amongst leftist black supremacists. I can't even believe this was even allowed on C-SPAN.
We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
He's still waiting. I'm surprised he didn't put it in a special casing already on the shelf.
Jackson Jack. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I mean, I should have, I could have done it when he got indicted the first time, but that's not good enough for me. No, I want to see him in handcuffs. I want to see his mug shot.
You guys are going to be the ones
to,
complete.
I just want to go see him go through a lot of shit.
Just shock of all shock.
I'm on Twitter, so I'm gonna see what they're saying, what all the analysts are saying about this.
I'm serious. You guys don't even realize it.
I bet Mr. High Voltage won't get in the back.
How you are going to feel when you finally realize you guys have been wrong the whole time about everything.
They're thinking that they're going to offer Trump a plea deal to dodge jail time And I hope that includes he can't run for president ever again.
You guys are scared of him because he actually does a good job.
According to this article, Trump is the one of the worst presidents.
Of course he is, because the media does the fucking, they slander him all the time.
Yeah, he teeters back and forth with, I think he isn't like the first.
And Biden's not the worst. Are you guys fucking serious right now?
I mean, he wanted to be the number one and everything. I'm sure.
Why would he go to prison? Don't you have to be convicted of a crime first?
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. What was that?
What crime do you pretend lawyers think he's?
Okay, first of all, why do you, as you as a white man, why do you have a picture of a black woman?
A crime.
Well, no, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, that's the Maxine Waters.
Jay, I'm asking you, why do you have as a white man, why do you have a picture of a black woman on your?
Well, you have no idea what color I am.
Yeah, I do know what color you are.
I had my dog on last week.
Yeah, I do, because we see your profile, bitch.
No, you don't. Why don't you answer my question? Why are
you blackfacing? That's just
reason.
I've seen him before. He's white as hell.
Who gives a fuck? So now we can't use other races or other colors on our thing. You guys are the real racist, really, seriously.
There you go.
I don't know how much more racist that is. He's showing love for anybody. It doesn't matter what his profile picture is. Who gives a fuck?
In my opinion.
Gosh, you guys are something else.
He spreaded conspiracy theories about things, and it caused even more division.
If you guys want to really get to know what the real truth is,
hey, Ben Lee, I'm gonna have to rotate
educate
you.
yourself
Okay?
on my pages, and you'll find out.
You have a good day, sir. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Right.
Sharon, and we're sorry. Our citizens are.
We got to bring more black people up.
I gotta tell you
don't
something,
like white people.
Mike. As I feel, I never want to miss out on a Trump bashing opportunity.
You guys have nothing else. You guys are seriously un-American, weak
Sit
people.
up here with the white man come up with a black woman on his profile. I can't stand it.
Why? Why does it matter?
He's done that before. He came in the live once before, some weeks ago.
Yeah, he's
And
coming
he had
down
a
the
picture
line.
of Michelle Obama.
A piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statute, you can, the government can, take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail. Away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street.
If we do that, then maybe they'll wake up. But as long as we sit around crying and going, oh my God, this is outrageous, they're going to double down on all their hatred because they love to see us cry.
But what if that plan is 5 steps forward and they're trying to destroy education being paid for by the government?
We're trying to keep our kids
from
getting indoctrinated. Instead, they want to be educated like they used to be,
public
like we
education
were.
setting. I mean,
can tell you why
the Republicans are getting really down and dirty right now.
They are.
I have some
You know what? We had to step up our game to go against you fucking dirty sons of bitches and pieces
Texas
of
law
shit.
that they tried to pass to have the
I will destroy any one of you in a one-on-one. If I can fucking show videos and I can show documents, we can do it personally, we can do it however you want. But you motherfuckers, none of you guys got enough information for me. I promise. I'll prove every single fucking thing you guys say wrong.
That's good. We need to really start telling these people to their face, we don't care what they do to their children. As a result, we don't care if their kids get freaking shot to death in school. I know that sounds really, really bad. It does. But it's the only thing for educational purposes only.
Yes, I know you guys are going to be banned.
You're going to get him shut down. You're going to get him shut down. Baldy turned around and voted for Governor Abbott after what happened to their kids.
You know, because they all know it was a fucking setup, you dumbass. You Baldy, of all the school shootings, was not a fucking real thing. You guys are seriously fucking brain damaged. That's why our country's a fucking mess.
Radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act. We've all voted, or I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
It seems Paul Walker had more than enough information to make life real difficult for the Clinton Foundation and their dealings in Haiti. Let's find out, see what's up.
Is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it.
Again, but I don't give a fuck. Facts. Never give a fuck. Black people and white people, I want you to understand something. If you don't know the history of America, pay attention. I'm going to break it down quickly as possible. Break it down. After the Civil War, when black people were free, they had problems with the Democratic Party. They were still killing black people. Right. They were still taking black people's land. They still were destroying their livestock and burning down their homes. Facts. Oh, facts. The Abolitionist Party, also known as the Republican Party, started a group called the NRA, the National Rifle Association. This group was started. A group of good white folks started this group to arm and protect the newly free slaves. Right. They protected them much to the chagrin of their own lives. 500,000 good white people died protecting black people. That's what the Republican Party was. May they rest in paradise. And to combat the NRA weaponizing black people, the Democratic Party started another group. This group was called the Ku Klux Klan. Everything I'm saying is factual. Go read your history. Yeah, go read your history. They combated the Ku Klux Klan, the NRA, and black people and white people together. The Republican Party never was stronger. And black people at that time never was richer. Oh, facts. After we were freed from slavery, all the jobs we were made to do became jobs that still needed to be done. And black people were successful because of that. We bought millions of acres of farmland. So we migrated to the north. Then, a lady named Margaret Sanger started an organization in 1916 called Planned Parenthood, with the express reason to destroy the black population. Years later, our black asses took our kids and took our pregnant women to this organization and aborted our children. At that time, we were 26% of the population. Now we're 13%. The Democratic Party was never for us, and they still aren't.
Interesting twist for the Biden campaign after a Ukrainian court lists the presumptive Democrat nominee as a possible criminal suspect. One America's Chanel Brion has more from the White House.
Democrat presidential candidate and former Vice President Joe Biden finds himself in more hot water this week. Just confirmed, a Ukrainian court ordered Joe Biden to be formally listed in a criminal case. The crime? The alleged firing of Ukraine's former prosecutor general Viktor Shokin in exchange for dropping an investigation into Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and the company for which he was a board member, Burisma Oil. Shokin formally called for an investigation into his firing back in February of 2020, claiming the Ukrainian government at the time relieved Shokin of his post in exchange for $1 billion in loan guarantees promised by Biden, a bribe Biden himself admitted to doing.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
But at the time Shokin called for this case back in February, the courts listed one of the defendants as an unnamed American, an individual widely understood to be Joe Biden, Obama's Ukraine point man. But Biden was never formally named. Now, the courts have ruled it is improper to conceal Biden's name and that there is sufficient evidence to proceed with an investigation. The ruling cannot be appealed. Another key development in this story is the release of a series of telephone conversations that has garnered major questions. Andrei Derkach, a member of parliament in Ukraine, in a press conference Tuesday released what he says appear to be voice recordings of then Secretary of State John Kerry, Vice President Joe Biden, and then President of Ukraine Poroshenko, discussing the Burisma case and discussing the removal of Viktor Shokin. Neither Kerry, Biden, nor Poroshenko have affirmed the verity of these recordings. The recordings appear to have been leaked from government officials and whistleblowers, but are currently being verified. Ukrainian President Zelensky stated he anticipates more developments over the course of the summer and says the case could qualify as high treason. Candidate Biden has yet to respond to this latest development. Chanel Rian, One American News, the White House.
No, 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 no.
People on 34th Street walked up to some of the men that got off these buses and was asking them questions and talking to them. Not only are majority of them not from Mexico, they don't speak English, and they are instructed not to engage with us. They stood there silent. Like I said before in previous videos, they are strategically being placed for when the time comes. And this print right here solidifies it, that they're going to militarize them against us. Pay attention, guys, and be blessed. Hey, guys. So, remember I said that they were bringing these military-aged men over into the States, but it wasn't just any place in the States. It was major cities, Chicago, New York, Texas, Florida, California, right? And then this happened because I said they were setting them up for when the time comes, they would need them to try to overpower the masses. It says non-citizens to soon have arrest powers as police officers in Illinois. And although this is Illinois, adverse reactions will soon take place in a major city near you. SA1 permits counties and municipalities to hire non-citizens as deputy sheriffs and police officers in the same manner as hiring U.S. citizens, as long as they are legally authorized under federal law to work in the United States and is authorized under federal law to obtain, carry, or purchase or otherwise possess a firearm, or who is an individual against whom immigration action has been deferred by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So, their paperwork possibly was taken care of ahead of time. You've seen that they was on those long lines. And it says what this means in Illinois is that you may see soon
any citizen
non-U.S. citizens
in
wearing
this country
police
will be
badges
able
with
to
arrest
fucking
powers
shoot
over
if they
U.S.
engage.
citizens.
And you're talking
A couple of
They're not.
people
That is not possible.
on 34th Street walked up.
Trans stuff and gay militancy. I asked my staff to do a little investigation of the Human Rights Campaign. They're behind it. Do you know what that is? Do you know what the Human Rights Campaign is? Very interesting. Okay, it was founded in 1971 by a guy named Steve Endine. All right, he died in 1993 of AIDS. He was a gay activist. It has become the largest LGBTQ plus political lobbying organization in the United States of America. Its endowment, all right, is about $50 million. No, it's a lot of money they have. Okay? It's a 501c, that means a nonprofit organization, and they get donations. Who donates to the Human Rights Campaign? Well, how about Amazon, American Airlines, Google, JP Morgan Chase, Lyft, Macy's, Microsoft, Pfizer, Target. Here's Target. Walt Disney Company, shocker. UPS, Alaska Airlines, CVS Health, Comcast, NBC, shocker, among others. They are the Human Rights Campaign's corporate partners. That's what HRC says. They're our corporate partners. They pump tens of millions of dollars in there. These people are behind all this, all right? And there's another guy behind it, too. I guess you can guess who that other guy is. Hey, George Soros, how you doing? Yeah. Old Georgie Porgy gave hundreds of thousands of dollars, has given to the Human Rights Campaign Foundation. All right, so what do? They basically come down on anybody that criticizes woke, trans, or LGBT. They attack them. They call them bigot like Samantha Pond. That's what they do.
Today is Monday, July 18th, 2022. Republican Congressman Ronnie Jackson. Remember, he was Trump's doctor when Trump was in the White House. He says Biden will not finish his term, whether due to dementia or everything happening with Hunter, whether by 25th Amendment or Biden simply resigning. Ronnie says there are other ways that they can get rid of Biden. Even his own party wants him gone. And Ronnie's predicting it'll happen in the next few months. Even the fake news media is turning on China Joe. After Trump's victory in
Trump took 5 days. Hillary Clinton did not open her mouth because she thought it was all made up. Hillary Clinton did not open her mouth or offer a defense for 5 days. And at the end of the 5 days, they hung her ass. It was after 9 o'clock p.m. It was 9:15 p.m. Her last meal was scrambled eggs with jalapenos, and her drink was a strawberry milkshake. When they walked her up the 13 steps to the gallows and put the rope around her neck, she said, "You can't do this to me. I'm Hillary Clinton." And President Donald Trump hollered up at her and says, "Your reign of terror ends now." And they hung her ass. Shortly after 9:15 p.m.
Did they film that?
They're all given a chance to repent. The people you think are alive are dead. People you think are dead are alive. Just wait.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Tucson. Get
Biden's inauguration again, and I noticed none of the military had any
ranks or honors on their jackets. So I decided to go back and look at other past inaugurations, and I noticed Bush, they had their ranks on their jackets. I looked at Obama. This isn't actually the inauguration, but it is a laying of the wreath. For some reason, the video wouldn't edit that I found for Obama's inauguration. But you can see here, they all have their military rank on their jackets. And the next one you'll see with Trump. Trump has his. And I want you to notice, too, that all three of them were able to touch the wreath and kind of push it back on the stand. But I want you to notice Biden's on what happens with his here, because his is different. Because remember, there's no military rank on any of the jackets anywhere. You can't find them. And you're going to see he doesn't walk down the steps. He walks out from the left if you're facing the tomb, which is weird. So you see there's no military ranking on any military officer there. They don't get to touch the wreath for some reason. They have to walk up to it and do this awkward, hey buddy, how you doing, kind of thing. And then they stand there, look at it, and then they turn around and walk back. So why? I also want to point out that they did the 21 gun salute with 2 guns actually at the cemetery.
Something unbelievable happened for us in the FBI. We were getting lots of rumors about this high-level asset that worked for several intelligence agencies at the same time. He worked for the Saudi intelligence service. He worked for the CIA, and he was being developed as a political asset in Chicago, Illinois. He was not even a United States citizen, but it was said that he was a student visa and that he was a national from another country. In 2008, everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
One of his code names was Renegade. His real name was Barry Soetoro, but he adopted a different name for his political career. When they ran him for president, the cabal, basically, this was the culmination of so many of their plans for so many years. His mission was to destroy the United States from within, one institution at a time. One of the things he did, of course, was he defunded our military. He brought down the resources that they got. But then he ordered our military in many, many instances and in various theaters to attack our allies and to defend and supply and help our enemies. That's exactly how he created ISIS. He would say publicly that the military were going to bomb our enemies, but then he would have the military actually bomb enemies of ISIS, our allies. He gave ISIS funding and equipment by basically ordering our military to take equipment into a certain theater and then abandon it. And the commanders would say, that's ridiculous. We'd just be handing that stuff over to ISIS. And the president's office would say, don't question orders, just follow your orders.